welcome back to the channel. It's your DIY contractor here, and today we're going to be working on septic tank field lines, and we're going to check to see if we can save them or if they're going to have to be replaced. The complaint is every now and then you get a wet spot in the yard and the toilets back up. So we did notice that there are roots running across the field lines. So we're going to see if we can save them and bypass a section, or if they're going to need replacing. So stay tuned. So the septic tank is located right here in this area, and you can see there's a wet spot here, and the septic tank lines run out this way and zigzag through the yard, and you can see there's also a wet spot here, and that's the root that's possibly blocking the septic tank field line. So we're going to uncover the septic tank to see if it's holding, and then we will know if we get through. We'll dig this out and possibly bypass it, and there's another root, and we'll camera it, and there's a root there, and try to get the lines cleared. So as you can see, I got the Chinese Mini X over there ready to go to work. So let's get the septic tank uncovered. So that's the edge of the septic tank. So you can see where that wet spot is. That's probably where the line comes out at. So we'll get that dug up. So got the one lid, the last lid, uncovered, and you can see right here is where the water is coming out. So that's evidently it's going to be holding, and this tank is going to be full. So we're going to get it uncovered and lift it up by the lids. Get a chain and lift this up by the lids and slide it to the side, and then we'll start working on trying to get the camera in there and see how far it'll push and see where it lands. So that's what the inside of the septic tank looks like, just in case you hadn't seen it. And it is holding water. So our next step is to find the outlet and to see how far it runs before it gets blocked. So thinking hopefully it runs all the way out till we get out to these roots out here. So let's get the camera and everything set up and we'll go from there. And you can see most of it is water. I think we pumped this tank about a year ago. So most of it is just water, not a lot of solids. So that tells me we do have field line problems. So this is a 1,000-gallon tank, and it's a solid, well, one-piece tank without the baffle in the middle. So on the ends, you have an inlet and an outlet. And the outlet is about right here. Now we can see the outlet, and if you notice the water coming back means it's definitely blocked beyond that. So now we can get the camera and start putting it through and see how far it goes through. So it looks like that's about as far as I can go without forcing it, but it is full of water. So we're going to mark that spot and see what we got at that spot. So I'm going to use the rigid, and we're going to use this to snake it, and I'm going to use the small root cutter first. So we'll see how that one does before we use the 4-inch. But it should work, and we'll know if we got any blockages. But that's what it looks like. And like I said, it has 4 blades, 2 large cutters, and then 2 blades on the side. So let's see what it looks like. See what it does. around somewhere. Yep.
It's the summer.
Yeah. So what we have is, you can see there are roots in the line, in your field lines, but we're gonna run it through again and see if we can get it to go a little further. But that's what we're coming back with. So let's try it again. So we'll run this through a couple of times.
Doggone. Look at that. Just look at that. It's barely going through there.
Right. And that's because I broke it open.
Oh, wow. This just took over that.
Yeah. So it wouldn't be no saving that. So we're going to put a baffle or a filter on this end. And this is the filter that goes on that end. It's a 4-inch. And it has the filter in it. And we broke off the concrete baffle, and we'll glue this on.
And that's the way it works.
Yep.
Water level comes up.
And go through it, but it stops all the trash from coming through here. Yep.
And it only brings water from down there.
Correct. I mean, if it ever overflows and it goes through the top, it's a vent through the top too.
Yeah, okay.
But it mainly for the bring it through the bottom. Yep. So that is that. This is what we got. We're flushing the stool now to make sure everything's flowing. Got the filter put on. And as you can see, the PVC line stops here. So just checking to make sure everything's flowing. And right here, we're going to turn this at a 45 or 22, but we're gonna run new lines down through the middle here. So we're gonna put a chamber system connector here and go out in the middle of the yard and put out maybe 50 feet of chamber or 30 feet of chamber out here. The original septic tank lines, as you can see, were full of roots, and they ran straight up through here, and straight up that way about 5 feet from the curb, and then it rotated and turned back down to the middle of the yard, and again back up toward the trees. So no way we would have been able to save them, because if you look through here, you can see roots pretty much all throughout here.